This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast presented by Omaha Steaks. We are doing our second Discord Dog Pack show today. Another lovely Friday afternoon with the gents. It's me, Josh. I'm with Justin, and Kenny Mack is back just like last week. How are you guys doing on a Friday afternoon?
Let Justin go first.
Man, I'm good. We're just getting off work. I'm exhausted, been running around all day, but excited to be there with you guys and ready to kick this thing off. What's going on with you, Kenny? How we doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Like we finally cracked that heat bubble or heat dome or whatever's going on. I think it's like from Ottawa to Ohio or beyond, and I got a little dehydrated. I get a little bit of something called gout, and it flared up last night. Couldn't make it to work, but I am here now, ready to get my mind off this and talk some brownies. Let's go.
That's right. So go ahead,
terrible.
Justin.
It's terribly hot every day here.
Yeah, but you got a pool, so that's nice, right?
I swim in the pool every day.
We got a pool at the in-laws next door. I've been there the last 2 days. And it has been a godsend. So before we dive into topics today and bring anybody on stage, just want to remind everybody, make sure you guys are liking the video on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. We're getting closer and closer to that 10,000 subscriber mark. And if you're listening on your audio podcast platforms, make sure you give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts specifically. If you guys are listening on Apple right now, just scroll down on that homepage for the Dogs Podcast. Leave us a 5-star written review. Doesn't have to be something simple like, hey, these guys are cool, good show, whatever. And that really helps us get in front of more Browns fans like you guys. And last but not least, if you want to get into these Discord stages to talk with us, to get on stage and talk and ask questions, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on our Patreon page, and that gets you access to the private Discord and this show right here. So the very first thing we're going to kick things off with, just in the chat, Pastor Rob has asked, are you guys still shadow banned? I don't know. I mean, I had a lot of conversations with YouTube support chat, which I think was just an AI bot. And if you ask them, or ask me, I should say, there's no way AI is ever taking over the world. They are still totally stupid. AI, just the intelligence level is not there. I don't think it's ever going to be there. But, they claim, there's no such thing as a shadow ban. You're not shadow banned. They give you kind of all these excuses as to why the algorithm has changed, blah, blah, blah. Here's why. Maybe your content isn't getting shown to people anymore. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. People who have the notification bell tapped for our show are not getting notified when we release a new video. And I'm not joking. Because their answer, I kept saying, like, I'm not satisfied. And then the how they ended the chat was, well, we're glad everything's okay now. Have a nice day. Thanks, YouTube. Thank you.
They didn't ask you if you were satisfied, man. So, they're good to go.
Yeah, even though I said, no, I'm not. They said, all right, have a nice day. Gotcha. All right, cool. But, our last episode, the last couple have gotten a lot more views, so it seems like things might be getting lifted a little bit. You guys are starting to see the content, which is good because we've got some big things coming up over the summer. So appreciate the concern there, Pastor Rob. Okay, does anybody want to get up on the stage here at the beginning of the show? Pastor Rob, Andrew Jackson. All right. Well, what about you guys? So what's your takeaway from, I guess we can talk about the Lonnie Phelps situation down in Florida. I guess just to give a quick recap for anybody who has not seen that or followed the news or anything, Lonnie Phelps was a undrafted free agent, gosh, I don't have it in front of me what school we got him out of last year. But
was it Kansas?
Yes, it was Kansas. Thank you. Yep, out of Kansas, defensive end, kind of like defensive end, outside linebacker, an edge guy that we had last year. He went through training camp, preseason, made the practice squad, and he was just a guy that, UDFA, that's great. We've talked to a ton of those guys, and we were excited to have him on the practice squad. Thought, okay, this is a good developmental player, good prospect, all that kind of stuff. And made it through the whole season and signed the futures contract and all that good stuff. So he's still on the team, getting ready, gearing up for training camp. And now he's on summer break down in Key West, Florida, and got hit with a nasty DUI the other night, crashed his vehicle into the front of a restaurant and through the restaurant, and just not a good situation. I think his girlfriend was in the car with him. Fortunately, nobody hurt, nobody killed. The restaurant was closed at this time when it happened. So destroyed the property. I think I saw like $300,000 in damages or something was the estimate, but he has been waived by the Cleveland Browns pretty much a couple hours later.
Yeah. See you later, man. I don't know. Like it's tough. I mean, I think the kid was an Ohio kid. He was from Cincinnati, and you want these guys to succeed. I mean, every time I listen to podcast where you guys interview, like you just interviewed the Brown kid, the receiver.
Yeah, Amari and
These
Brown.
guys sound awesome. Yeah, these guys sound awesome. Like they got it locked in, and then you hear something silly like this where he just kind of throws his career away, because I don't think anything's going to come of this for him professional football-wise based on that decision, and it's a possibility of the damage that he may go bankrupt.
Yeah. I think it just sucks. Crappy situation. I'm pretty sure it was Kevin in the Discord said he was the guy too. He kind of was buried on the depth chart. He's a practice squad guy all last year. So, it sucks that you lose that depth piece, a developmental player, like you said, Josh. But, at this point, it's one of those things where, hey, maybe just time to reflect and, redirect and, best of luck to him on the next thing. But just it's a crappy situation.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just a reminder to everybody, like if you're on Twitter and stuff, I mean, one of the posts getting shared around was an article that I forget what outlet it was from, because I don't care. I don't care about these outlets that post these clickbait things. It said Cleveland Browns star player gets arrested in Florida. And the people sharing it were like, checks notes, practice squad, never played a snap, star player. Like, come on, guys. These people are freaking idiots that write these headlines, but it's a clickbait world we live in. Everybody gets paid per click, which is why I no longer spend any time writing for Dog Pound Daily, just because I didn't want to get paid per click, because then I got to try to manipulate headlines and do all that kind of crap, which I'll just stick to the podcast stuff. So way better that way. And also, just don't drive drunk. If you've been drinking, just call somebody, call an Uber. Especially where he was at, like, there was rideshare available, so just not worth it. Like I said, lucky nobody was hurt.
Yeah, for the price of that car, he's got to afford some kind of Uber. But I mean, Jim Rome, like when I used to listen to him back in the day, he'd always make fun of these guys. He's like, how can we do it so if you are a millionaire that we can make this easy for you? And back then it was call a cab, because there was no ride share. And he'd go, okay, we'll at least get 4 numbers. Go 1-800, and then you just go, blah. And then you can hit the car. You can get a car that easy. Don't even have to say the other 7 numbers, And that was an ongoing joke. But the problem with the joke is it was so real that there was at least once a month there is a professional player, and I think I'm being super low on this number, professional player in any sport ruining their lives by drinking and driving. It should be simple, you would think, but again, why do so many people get DUIs? Because it's actually not that simple. People just, I know you think you're good, you think you can make it or wherever you're going or whatever, but
He did not. So, I mean, it just sucks because it's now like a 3-year stretch of this kind of situation with the Browns. You know, last year was Perrion Winfrey, who started to come on strong the second half of his rookie season. We were all kind of excited, like, hey, this guy's showing some flashes. He could be a great developmental, like become a good defensive tackle for us. And then he had his run in, and now they kicked him out real quick. And then the year before it was Malik McDowell, who just came off a great year with the Browns. And it's like, good Lord, guys, like just. And if I remember correctly, all of these things happened in the summer break. I think McDowell might have been in the off season, but I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, he's got and McDowell had some mental wellness issues.
Yeah.
Based on what he did, but I mean, it's not anything that you want to report.
Right. All right. Well, it looks like our stages are a little bit empty today. Maybe this is Friday afternoon. I know everybody's getting home from work and everybody's busy and stuff. So what else did you guys want to dive into here while we're waiting for people to jump in here?
You guys got to talk about it a little bit, and I just want to put a kudos out to Phil Dawson. He's a guy that, man, every time I've been in Cleveland, he's in Cleveland, people are taking pictures and just loving the guy. For a kicker to be that revered for, I'd say, a blue-collar town that loves football so much, that is astonishing to me. However, I think Justin did say in the last episode it was either him or Cribbs with maybe a sprinkle season of Hillis that were going to score points, and that was about it.
Yeah, man. For me, and I don't know if you guys feel like this. This is just like the Cleveland fan in me. Like, to me, he's a rock star. You know what I mean? For a long time of my life. And that was something that I looked forward to, and I knew what the outcome was going to be. I usually lied to myself and be like, today we're going to sneak something out. But he was a guy that you know what I mean? He was the only guy for a while. So to me, he's a Cleveland sports icon. He's up there at the top for the Browns, at least since 99.
Absolutely.
He single-handedly won that Bills game. Remember that 8-0 game in that wild snowstorm? Yeah. How he had fortitude to get any kick in through the uprights was unreal. That should just be a Hall of Fame moment put somewhere in Canton by itself.
Do you know my favorite Phil Dawson moment was that Baltimore game?
And where it kicked back out?
And we sit there and we win, right? We're all excited, and then it bounces off the middle, and you go, isn't this just typical Cleveland right here?
Yeah. Yeah, I knew the rule. I knew when it hit and went through, it was a win. Like, I saw it. And then everyone was like, no, you lost. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you better review this. Like, this is going to go down as the worst defeat because you really won. I think if everybody leaves the field, they don't come back, right?
Right.
And long story short, did that win the game or tie it, and then they won in overtime? That's the only thing I don't remember.
I want to say that was for the win, but maybe, I mean, it's been 10 years.
It has to be for win, because I think the game was done then. You're right.
Yeah. But legend.
Yeah, I think, and I'll just real quick come correct on the episode earlier in the week. Blake said that he thought Phil Dawson was the leading scorer in Browns history, is number 2. Lou Groves is number 1, but I believe Phil Dawson, when I was looking it up, 14th all time in NFL history as far as points scored.
Incredible. Wow. It's incredible.
So yeah, think about that. Like, number 2 in his franchise's history and top 15 all time across the league. That's insane.
And I don't think a lot of people know that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, football fans know Phil Dawson, I think, but
yeah,
to me, I wouldn't go, man, this guy was a top 15 all time. That's crazy.
And I think it's also because a lot of people you just don't follow kickers that closely. Kickers aren't the most popular. They're not the most sexy position. And, a lot of that top 15 are kickers, because you just don't really think about it. But if you've got a 20-year career, which Phil Dawson had, how many points are you able to score over the course of 20 years when you're constantly kicking field goals in every game, extra points every time the team scores? And the thing is, Phil Dawson did it with a team that wasn't very good, and he was still able to put up that many points. So I think that's just really, really impressive.
Yeah, he was also in a point in his career where he made the team, but halfway through his rookie season, I think they were going to cut him. And he had to have a really good game. I don't recall who it was against. And he ended up, I think he missed the first kick, but ended up clearing out 3 and hitting the game winner. I think that was the way it went. And then he just stuck as a kicker and got the confidence and went on for an amazing career. And how long was that career? Does it say, Josh, was it like 16 years?
20. Like his total career? Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because he played, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Because he was with Arizona for a bit and the Niners, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I knew Niners. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Cardinals.
I knew Niners for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, I guess you mentioned Josh Cribbs. You just did a Throwback Thursday yesterday, which, by the way, I hope everybody out there is just really enjoying Kenny's Throwback Thursdays, because you did like a Throwback Thursday series last year. You covered a whole bunch of guys through the summer leading up to the season. And now you're doing essentially season 2 of your Throwback Thursday series and kicking it off with Josh Cribbs. Phenomenal. It was such a good episode, man.
Yeah, good. I appreciate that. You know what? I really like looking back into the player's history. And I don't know if you kind of figure this out or not, but I try to pinpoint Browns players that will come either later in the Browns' career. Like we had, I forget his first name. Our director of player personnel, when we got Josh Cribbs, was Tommy Reese's dad, right? And you see all these little connection points through the Browns history, and these guys kind of reconnect. So Tommy Rees is back with the Browns as a tight end coach, but he's going to really help with the offense. And then, you learn a bunch of interesting things too. Like there was something I can't remember. I was looking at the Redskins roster, and so Josh Cribbs was going to sign with the Redskins. But what I said in the episode is that the Browns laid out kind of a career path for him, and it was at return. He didn't know how to do it, but they're like, you can play right away. Whereas with the Redskins, you looked at their 3 quarterbacks, and I don't recall who they were, but just as looking through the roster, I look, wow, I was like, in that year in the draft, they did something I haven't seen ever in my life. They drafted 2 fullbacks that year, the Redskins. I was like, that's crazy, man. So you learn all these little things, and I try to do these side notes on the side that are like either kind of wild or kind of circle back to the Browns.
That's pretty neat. Hey, Pastor Rob, are you with us here on the stage?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, what's going on, man?
Well, I thought I would start with, it looks like it's silly season in the news around the Browns. I just read today that apparently, according to Bleacher Report, that we're going to trade Amari Cooper mid-season.
Okay. What? I didn't see this report.
To an NFC contender, apparently. That's what we're doing in 2024. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, so to the 49ers?
I think they were saying probably Detroit, who are looking for a big-time wideout.
I see. So is this a report, or is this like one of those speculative, this is what we think might happen? Yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
It's the whole silly season, no football around, therefore let's just make stuff up.
Oh, yeah. I see those stupid headlines all the time. Blockbuster trade proposal sends star receiver to Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay. Oh, really? They're trading Justin Jefferson after they just signed him. Okay, that makes sense. Like it. Yeah, these things are so stupid, but go ahead, Justin.
No, all I was going to say was that we're on that subject too. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, because Kenny, you're a dog. What do you think's going to happen with Amari? Because I think it's like become the biggest focal point up to this, you know what I mean? They have to nail that down. They have to figure that out. Critical.
This episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Let's all take a minute to wish happy birthday to the United States of America, and there's no better way to celebrate America's birthday than with the best meats available for your backyard cookouts this 4th of July season. Right now, you can save 50% off site-wide during the Omaha Steaks 4th of July sale. So break out the grills and get ready for the 4th of July celebrations with Omaha Steaks. Get the burgers, the chicken, the jumbo franks, the brats, and of course, get the steaks. Those things are incredible. They've got appetizers, meatballs, wings. They've got desserts. They've even got wine. They've got everything you guys need to celebrate America's birthday with your friends and your family. Go to omahasteaks.com/dogs and use promo code DOGS, DAWGS, when you check out, and you'll get an extra $30 off your order. So set off the fireworks in everybody's mouth with Omaha Steaks this 4th of July. Head to omahasteaks.com/dogs. Get 50% off site-wide during the 4th of July sale, and make sure you guys punch in that promo code DOGS, DAWGS, when you check out to get an extra $30 off your order. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We've read that there's dialogue about keeping him 1 year and another 2 years. So we're all on the same page, I think, as far as like this year and extend him for the next 2 years. He's got some dead cap money there. Then for him to go anywhere longer, I don't see it happening, and I don't know what'll happen. Like I don't think he's going to hold out for it, because like if you're any other team, what other team's going to sign him for 5 years?
Right. Correct.
The money he wants, because he wants 20 plus million a year, which a lot of guys are getting, and that's fine. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve that, but if the guys that have signed that are going to last that long, and I know we understand that he's a great route runner and probably could last 5 years, but I just don't see the Browns doing that. And ultimately, if he doesn't, maybe that's something that does happen, because all you can do this season is connect fake dots. And you take a look at Amari and you look at the Detroit Lions, and that'll be a fit. There probably are a couple other teams. The 49ers is one that I've heard. I think the Newfoundland Browns backers or the Toronto Browns backers, one of the conversations I was in there. There's a guy that's through all our clubs, and he was kind of putting it out there that they might trade for Ayuk, which I believe you guys kind of put out there last show. I don't think that either team has any money for either one of those guys, so I don't think that's going to happen. So, I mean, ultimately, he plays this season. That's going to happen because no one's going to turn down $23 million, which is what he's owed. So after that, I mean, I hope that it's 3 years.
Yeah, so I know you were saying about like 5 years and all that kind of stuff. The last that I had heard, and Pastor Rob or anybody, if you guys have heard different since then, let me know. But last I'd heard is the Browns have not yet offered Amari Cooper a contract extension past 1 year with a duration greater than 1 year. And I would imagine he's looking for that 3 year, which would include this year. So you'd be looking at 24 with the extension, 25, 26. And, you know, that puts him playing at his age 32 season for the Browns, which said it on the show last time. I think Amari Cooper is still going to be a very, very good wide receiver at age 32. I don't see him having this massive career drop off. Will he still be the leading wide receiver of the Browns? Honestly, hopefully not. Hopefully Jerry Jeudy is that. He becomes that eventually here. But for this year and next year, at least, yeah, I think Amari Cooper can still be highly effective. And then even the year after that, I think he can still be very, very good for this team.
Agreed. It gets crazy to me, you know, that it hasn't gotten done yet, especially if that's it. If it's only 3 years, give me those chances. Yeah. Because this guy has been huge for us for the last 2 years.
Yep. We got Mr. Andrew Jackson. Why don't you just go ahead, man? Yeah, Pastor Rob, you can stay on the stage too. We've only got a couple of you guys here today, which is fine. So let's just all hang out on the stage and have us a conversation. And if the audience starts to fill up a little bit here, we'll go ahead and move some guys in and out, but you guys can chill with us.
So, speaking about Amari, do you think he wants to go to a fourth team, you know, in his career? Like, you know, he's kind of had that stuff with the Raiders. They want, you know, they traded for him at the Cowboys and all this stuff. Like, you think he wants to deal with a fourth team, and like, how does that affect his legacy? Or do you think it does at all?
So I don't think it affects his legacy at all. And for me, I think that just Amari Cooper is just like, he's a professional. I think that he's just that guy. Like, now I do think that he's settled in, and, you know, I think he likes being in Cleveland. I don't know personally, but I think that there's great chemistry and culture on this team. So for me, I don't think he wants to go anywhere. I think he just wants some security. And he wants to be paid like some of these other guys, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not like NFL stands for not for long if you don't get the money that you want. And he's just doing what he needs to do, and I respect that. Talking about the route running ability, you're going to another team. I don't think that'll affect his legacy either. He brought up a really good point with him, and I just see him as a highly respected part of the Browns locker room, and I think the Browns want him there. They just got to figure out that magical year number, I guess.
Playing devil's advocate from a Browns point of view. So he's wanting 20 million plus a year. We've got him for 1 year. Anything on top of that, he's into his low 30s. So he's 31, 32 plus. Is it the Browns are wanting to keep the money available in case they want to move for someone younger that's much better for the same money? And that's why the Browns aren't pulling the trigger for multi-year straight up now. This is more a tactical Andrew Berry. I want to keep my 20 million in my pocket so I can spend it on Higgins, example, next off season. Is that where the Browns are, and that's why it's not getting done now?
So one thing that was brought to my attention, I think it was in a YouTube comment maybe, or maybe it was on Twitter, I can't remember, but they said go look at the cap situation for 2026, because we're talking about that 3-year extension, which would put Amari out finishing up after 26. So right now, just if you look at like 2024 on over the cap, and you go down the guaranteed salary, so the cash money that they got, the Browns have guaranteed, they got to pay this out. Everybody's got cash money right there. You go to 2025, not quite as much, and then you go to 2026, and it is only Deshaun Watson and Jerry Jeudy. Everybody else that is still under contract is zeroed out. So I'm with you, Pastor Rob. I think there might be some of that, like, hey, look, we're trying to keep the books open here in a couple of years, because I think the Browns want to avoid and I hate saying rebuild, because I don't think it would be a rebuild. I think they want to avoid a retooling as much as they can. I think they want to continue this trend of kind of cycling through the 1-year deals to fill, some spots on the team and the depth pieces, and then just keep like your big money in your positions that you prioritize. And it's been working out very well for the Browns. And I don't know, they might be hesitant to lock up that much money into an older receiver 2 years down the road.
I mean, it's fair. It's very fair. And think about another guy like Jarvis. Jarvis was a guy that we couldn't imagine not being on the team.
Yeah.
And as soon as it came to money, it was, well, hey, it's a
You're
business.
not on the team. Yeah.
It's a business,
He had 20 million guaranteed, and Barry was like, no freaking way. See you later.
They also cut at the right time. They cut at the point of his cliff fall off, basically. That was the last season. What else was his last productive season?
Yeah, he hasn't really been relevant since. Yeah,
a lot of injury problems and staying healthy. He's trying to make a comeback, but I think it's just, I think the health's not holding up, and I agree with you, Pastor Rob.
Yeah, I follow Juice on Twitter, and I follow him on Insta, and I'm like seriously hoping this guy makes any team. I just love the guy, but I don't see it either.
You got to think we're going to be. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go on, Andrew.
I mean, but isn't this what we've been talking about for at least the last year and a half, we're going to see some of our favorite players not be on this team because that's just not just for money, but for other reasons. Because we're continuously growing. Like this is also not looking at this as a terrible problem to have either. I mean, we're building the culture. We're not just grasping at straws trying to get Dante Stallworth and Dwayne Bowe on the field, or we're being strategic about stuff. And it sucks, but I like it. I don't think a lot of us are used to this for the Browns.
No, we're definitely not used to it, man. And it just, I guess with Amari Cooper for this year, like if you just look at 2024, this year in a vacuum, that throws a huge wrench into things though, because, the offensive plans, Deshaun Watson, like this wide receiving core and all this stuff, everything we're doing really revolves around Amari Cooper still being that number one receiver out there. Jerry Jeudy being able to come in and continue to ascend and have that other guy on the field to take attention away from him. Like, I think this is a pretty big deal in my opinion.
Yeah.
The sustained success that the Steelers and the Ravens had, they always get rid of guys on time. Look, they jettison Antonio Brown. They got rid of the linebacker Harrison. And if you take a look, here's like the 10 best NFL route runners of all time, as per Pro Football Network. The first one is Jerry Rice. He didn't finish with the 49ers. Second one was Antonio Brown, and we just mentioned him. Third was Chad Johnson, and he didn't finish with the Bengals. I think he finished in the CFL with Montreal Alouettes. And the next one, I'm pretty sure Marvin Harrison Sr. finished with the Colts and retired a Colt. Vontae Adams moved on to the Raiders. He may move on somewhere else. Michael Irving retired a Cowboy, so he stayed. Larry Fitzgerald, I don't think stayed in Carolina. I can't remember where he moved on. And Steve Largent is number 8, and he retired a Seahawk and stayed a Seahawk. So you can say 3 out of the top 8 didn't stay with their teams because there was 5 other teams that didn't want to pay those guys.
Larry was Cardinal, and he stayed a Cardinal. Larry Fitzgerald did?
Larry Fitzgerald was, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he retired a Cardinal.
So
it's about 50-50 then.
So, but at the same time, like we all praise Andrew Berry for getting the deal done and being a step ahead. And I mean, we all knew that the contract extensions for AB and Stefanski was going to happen, but it took longer than we all expected. I mean, this is one of the things like, yeah, it might not get done or, we should have got done, a month ago or whatever, but I'm not worried about it yet until it's actually training camp. Then once that starts happening, then, okay, I'll start to feel uneasy about it. But, and I don't know how long it is between now and then anyway, but I feel like we're kind of, I guess we're starving for news or something. And we're just kind of like getting a little, but you being in our own heads, being worried about things that aren't quite all the way there.
That's true. There's nothing else to really distract us from the fact that this is the main thing, that Amari Cooper's still not, signed or extended or whatever. I mean, he's under contract for this year, but we've seen these guys do, like I said on the last show, the hold-ins and stuff during camp. And, after talking to like Bob Golick up at that Hall of Fame event and everything, I mean, the more these guys miss in training camp and they're not on the field and they're not running the routes and putting their body through the rigors of NFL, football practices and training and all that stuff. I mean, it just increases their chances of getting injured when the season starts and the football activity is at the highest level. So I want him out there. Hopefully they get this locked up, squared away before training camp, so we don't have to hear about him being there but not being on the field.
He's definitely going to be playing this year. There's no way he holds out. I don't think he'll even. I think this camp here, where it's the throwaway camp, isn't it? It's the means nothing, bit of training, a little bit of route running, some pads off nonsense. That's what they were doing. This is in making that emotional. I want a new deal big in the media because nothing's going on. when it comes to the main camp, I think he's just going to be playing. He's not that idiotic of a player. He's a very smart guy to turn around and go, actually, I need to play. I need to get the reps. I need to be in game fitness and practice to be able to play games. I can't just turn up at a game and play.
Yeah, and maybe this just kind of occurred to me too, but maybe this is getting all misconstrued across the media as well, and which happens all the time. Maybe this contract extension negotiation has been going on between the Browns and Amari Cooper, and nobody really knew about it until it came to this mandatory minicamp, and he wasn't on the field because he's like, well, we're currently in negotiations. I'm not going out on the field and risk getting hurt doing something stupid. So, I mean, maybe it wasn't even that big of a deal, and this whole thing has been going on, and that was kind of the plan all along. I don't know.
What, the press lying? No, Josh.
Yeah, I know. You can just believe everything they say, right?
Are you the press, Josh?
Oh, I get that all the time. They're like, well, you guys are media. I'm like, yeah, but we're not sideline reporters. We're not plugged into the team. We're not being relied upon to give inside scoops. Like, we're giving our commentary on the team and all these things. So it is a little bit different, but man, it's hard to give commentary sometimes whenever half the stuff coming out is just total BS.
Good question,
man. I hear you.
What's to say that Browns didn't give them dispensation to not be there? Because the Browns aren't going to come out and say that.
Okay, ask that again. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What if the Browns gave them dispensation to not be there?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
Because all we're taking is the media going, he didn't turn up, therefore he is in breach of contract, therefore he's not getting his money, he's a bad boy, and he's wanting a new contract. What if the Browns said, yeah, we're doing a new contract, you don't need to turn up to this fitness thing, we're happy, you can just stay with your family? Again,
I suppose that's possible as well, and that wouldn't make for as big of a news cycle for the media. So I don't know. And I feel like the Browns, Justin, we talk about this all the time. They do a good job of keeping all these things in house. Like they're not out there talking about this stuff like, hey, no, stop talking about Amari. We've been working on this for months. Like they don't even give two craps what the media is out there writing or posting or saying. They just do their business. They let the media go around with their heads cut off and be idiots. And then it'll come out after Amari signs like, yeah, we've been working through this the whole time. We told him he didn't need to come to the training camp while we were trying to figure this out. No big deal. And then they all look like asshats in the media again, Yeah,
I mean, all the players are still highly talking about Amari, and there's probably something to that. There doesn't seem to be any sense of urgency or panic that you can tell if you've watched any of Barry or Stefanski talking about it. They're pretty scripted when they speak about him, and they're like, it's the same thing you hear from both. Always highly regarded in the locker room, and we really want him as part of the team, and that kind of stuff, and we don't want him injured. But I think there is some plausibility to the fact that, do you need Amari Cooper in a mandatory passing camp right now? And you probably don't, because you want Judy and you want Elijah Moore, maybe even Chief to get a bunch because he gets the dropsies once in a while.
How about
you
Tillman?
Get these guys,
Tillman got a lot of work out there.
All the passes, and all the guys underneath. You want to get Said Till, you want to get the new Rook, and these guys, it'll just help us in the long run. But like Josh said last week, do want to get him some training camp because you don't want him to get these get into these games first game into the season and then he's worn down, kind of like Kareem was all year last year.
I agree. All right, so let's see. Andrew, Pastor Rob, do you guys have any other Browns related questions or just any questions at all, life questions or anything else?
Well, I've got a question. Go on, Andrew. You crack on, Andrew.
Go ahead with yours. I'm driving at the moment.
Stay safe, buddy.
And watch out for restaurants.
This episode is brought to you by Baden Sports. Browns fans, Baden Sports is your one-stop shop for all your athletic gear. Baden started out perfecting and manufacturing the best balls in the business. Yeah, if that sounded dirty, that's more about your mind than my words. But hey, it's true. Baseballs, softballs, footballs, basketballs, volleyballs, soccer balls, you name it, and Baden has engineered the highest standard sports balls available. And now they offer more than just sports balls. If you got kids playing baseball or softball, Baden has batting gloves and bats to go along with both game balls and training balls. If you're into basketball, Baden makes basketball specifically for indoor or outdoor use. Heck, Baden even has all the equipment you need for pickleball, which is one sport that I hear everyone is playing and yet I still never have. And I need to fix that soon. But don't miss the backyard games section of Baden's website where you can order everything you need for this upcoming outdoor season. Pool balls, backyard volleyball nets, croquet, bocce, horseshoes, cornhole, and more. Right now, you can get 10% off your entire order at Baden Sports, BADEN Sports.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS when you check out. That's 10% off all the top quality sporting gear you need this season. BadenSports.com/dogs.
So something that Bob Golick brought up, which was Kareem. Kareem's not got a job and still looking for something. What do you think happens there? It's not really Browns news because I don't think he's going to come back to the Browns. Do you think he finds something this year, or do you think that's Kareem done?
He didn't find anything last year until we needed him, so I would imagine the same thing holds true. Just another year. He's another year older. More wear and tear, more, miles on the tires and all that kind of stuff. So I would imagine he goes into the season unsigned. He's going to be a free agent, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him get onto a team. I mean, Leonard Fournette got onto a team last year when the Bills needed somebody to come in and do that stuff. So, I mean, guys are going to get hurt. It happens every year, especially at running back position. So I think as long as he keeps himself in shape for football, I mean, he'll get signed at some point. I just don't think it'll be before the season.
Be kind of tough too. I mean, Coach Stump it doesn't have anything right now either. And if you're one of the other 31 teams and you're like, well, let's just pay him and call him and see what it's like to coach Kareem. And he goes, oh, I really like Kareem, but he doesn't really try hard in practice. You're like, oh, see you later. Thanks, Coach Stump. Here's your money. I don't think that was a resounding vote of confidence from that interview that we saw Coach Stump do for Kareem.
Yeah, I'm lining up with Josh as far as I don't think he'll be on a team, but it's always injuries. It's just part of the game. Guys go down, and I wouldn't be surprised if he signed somewhere, or at least signed on onto a practice squad and worked his way onto an active roster.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for the injuries he did have, he sure as hell found the end zone. That's for sure.
Yeah, and he was good for that. Goal line work. He was money last year. He had 10 touchdowns. I mean, I'm sure once some injuries start piling up, guys start going down, you lose your stud running back. You need a committee. I could see him getting onto a team.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, let's do this because we've got maybe 10-15 minutes left and we'll wrap up this episode. And I know Andrew said that he's still driving. So Andrew, if you get to a point where you can talk, let us know. And Pastor Rob,
I'm there.
Oh, you are there. Okay.
Yeah,
well, guess
I do have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Because you said something about Coach Stump. So those interviews that you guys did up the Hall of Fame, was there anything fun or interesting that you can talk about that didn't make it to air? Like talking to some of these guys off the air, they said this or did that you thought that was really interesting?
I'll be honest with you. It was kind of like a rapid fire thing, at least for the beginning. Like guys were coming, sitting down, then they'd get up and go because they had people they were with and to do all this stuff as well. The only one who really hung out and talked for a while after the interview was Bob Golick. Isn't that right,
yes.
Justin? Yeah.
I want to have a beer. I want to have a beer with Bob Golick, man. That guy looked amazing.
He is
cool.
Hilarious.
Very cool guy.
Yeah,
very and had opinions. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly when we cut with him, but I thought Bob was awesome. Like, you know, he had thoughts on it.
All right, so I will tell you this: if you go back and watch that interview, so this was on the interview on the camera. So we're sitting there, we're interviewing Bob Golick, we're talking to him, we're in the middle of the conversation, and just I don't know who it was. Some guy, this is an older gentleman, I guess we'll call him a gentleman, was there at the event, and he comes walking over with, it was either his son or his grandson, and has this old football helmet, and just comes right over to the table in the middle of our conversation, sets the helmet down in front of Bob Golick, pushes it towards him, and then takes out a Sharpie, leans over the table and tosses it over to Bob in the middle of our conversation, like, sign my helmet. And we're all just like, dude, like, what are you doing right now? And then the kid, to make matters worse, goes and stands right in front of the main camera. And we're like, what are you guys doing right now? I mean, it was
kids, man.
The setup was clear. You knew what was going on there, and he's just standing right in front of the camera. And we're like, hey, can you move? It was wild, man.
Bob Golick was old school. Everything he was talking about was like proper in the trenches, old school football. And then
Great guy.
Blake's like, so we won't keep you all night. He's like, what, you want to get rid of me?
I know. We're like, oh crap, I think he wants to stay here and keep talking, which was cool with us, but we just didn't want to make anybody feel like they had to stay there.
Wanting to get away. Yeah, that was a really cool interview. There was 2 or 3 of them that I thought were really super duper, really eloquent speakers. Obviously, Nate is his job. He wouldn't be doing his job if he wasn't the type of speaker and type of person he is. Super switched on, super on it. The other one was Eddie George.
Yeah.
I thought that
he was awesome.
He was really good and really switched on. Really good interview.
We were supposed to, and the thing is, we just ran out of time at the event to get all these guys, but we were supposed to sit down with Terrell Pryor and talk to him. We've been in contact with
an amazing one as well.
Well, we've been in contact with him since then, and he is going to come on to an episode. Hopefully next week. He was supposed to come on this week, and then we didn't get it all lined up, so hopefully next week, but sometime here over the summer, we should be having Terrell Pryor on the show.
Tier 1 interviews then coming upcoming, Josh.
Yep. Yes, sir. There are a couple. Okay, so go ahead, Andrew. Yep.
So how surreal is this? I mean, just interviewing some of these guys, some of the guys that you guys got to interview. I mean, I think, 3-4 years ago, whenever you guys started the dog pack, to what it is now, like, it's one of those things. Like, I mean, it's only going up. And I mean, how does that make you guys feel? You're like, man, like, you look back at it, and like, man, like, I can't believe we're interviewing Eddie George. I can't believe we're interviewing, potentially Terrell Pryor coaches and all this stuff.
It's crazy, man. It's been a surreal ride, honestly. Like, 4 or 5 years ago, Blake called me and said, hey, you want to go and do a podcast? And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know anything about podcasting. And, like, we joke that, like, every year we try to have a milestone, and we do something, at least one big thing. And Josh, like, we were just laughing today. He's like, it's becoming a more reoccurring thing than,
once a year. It's like once a month almost.
2 years ago, yeah. I know at that event, we were sitting there and Eric Dickerson walked in, and, like, I almost had to, like, pinch myself. Because, like, to me, Eric Dickerson is like, he's that dude. Like, he's like a Jim Brown, like, like, he's a legend, like, GOAT. Like, people make the argument, he's like, well, he can be the best one of all time. And so, like, just seeing him there, I'm like, just like a fan of football, I was like, just taken back by the whole experience. Just seeing him, like, wow. And then Eddie George, same thing. Eddie George walked in, and I was just like starstruck, like nervous, and like, cause it's Eddie George, and he still looks like Eddie George. He's huge.
Yeah.
It was awesome though.
He does. And I mean, like, Ted Ginn was one of my all-time favorite Buckeyes growing up. And I wasn't quite as like, whenever he sat down, just because I had gone up and done an interview with him the week prior. So I'd already met him. So, but it was still like, wow, this is just so cool to hear these guys sit here and talk about, you know, all these things that they went through that I just have these fond memories of watching football when I was younger, and they're coming at it from the more of the behind the scenes stuff and angles that I would have never thought of. So it's just so cool to talk to these guys and get these different perspectives.
I think it was 2 years ago, you guys went up to training the first time, I think. And from there, it's just went up and up and up. Like last year, you went to the Browns Brackers to meet Stump, and then Stump was like, yeah, come and speak to Nick.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get you to see Nick.
He was. It was so cool, man. Yeah, he said, he just turns and looks at us, do you guys want to talk to Nick? We're like, yes. In fact, we do. Everybody's like, stay cool, stay cool.
But
unfortunately,
when you have a conversation, the conversations you have with them are very much based around being Browns fans, football fans, not media. And that's why they have a chat with you, they talk to you, and they speak to you like humans.
Well, I mean, that's what this podcast is all about. It's why it's for fans by fans. That's what we are. We are Browns fans. We started this thing just to talk Browns perspective and commentary from our perspective, because the media just quite honestly sucks. And I got so sick and tired of listening to 850 all the time and those yahoos and everything that I just couldn't do it anymore. Like, I used to listen to that stuff all day at work. I'd be tuned in, headphones in, listening to 850 all day long. And after a couple of years, I just got to the point where I'm like, man, this stuff is just starting to get so nasty and negative and honestly stupid. And that's whenever I reached out to Blake, because it was kind of going into that COVID period, and I had the podcast equipment, and I was just like trying to find a new hobby to do. And I was like, why don't we just, hey, do you want to do a Browns podcast? He's like, yeah, I think I could find a couple people. So that's when I met Justin, and Zach came on board, and yeah, here we are.
Many years later.
Yeah.
Next year, Fox Sports Show. Bought out.
No, I think we'll stick to our own outlets because I don't want to be associated with anybody.
Not go the Pat McAfee route.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Although I guess I haven't even told Justin and Blake this, but I just had a conversation today. There's a local sports network. It's called Big Time Sports Ohio. They primarily focus on high school and college sports, kind of just in Northeast. I don't want to just say Northeast, but heavily in Northeast Ohio, but all of Ohio. And we're going to partner with them. They're going to also broadcast the Dogs podcast on their network, on their Facebook page. They've got like 50,000 followers on there. So it's just kind of cool to partner up with some of these other sports networks and get our content out in front of more people.
That's it, Justin. You can quit your job.
My wife just graduated with her master's, so I think about it every day. But I gotta be on my best behavior. So now I'm gonna
tell you what, dude. I know that is her accomplishment, but congratulations to you, because you had to sacrifice. You had to, you've got 2 kids. You had to help support her through all that. I'm sure it was not an easy journey for her to get to where she is now. So that's awesome, man. I'm very excited for you and for her.
Oh, that was, yeah. I mean, there were sacrifices, but she's incredible. So definitely something I couldn't do. The school was never really my thing like that. I couldn't do that many years of, especially college. No, thank you. But it's great. It's great. Very awesome.
Good stuff. Well, Andrew, Pastor Rob, do you guys have any last things before we wrap it up here today?
Nothing for me.
Nope, I'm good, bud.
You guys are good. Well, let me hit you guys with one last question. We've got like 5 minutes here. So I'm going to start with Kenny Mack, and then we'll kind of cycle around. It's a would you rather, and we're just going to have a little fun with it. Kenny, would you rather be stuck in a zombie apocalypse or be stuck in an alien invasion?
I don't know if aliens and how smart they are. I know zombies are stupid, so I'll take the zombies.
Justin, what about you, man?
I would say I'm pretty educated on the zombie, the whole zombie thing. So, a lot of Walking Dead, Night of the Living Dead growing up. So give me zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
I want to deal with all that alien technology.
Pastor Rob, what do you think, man?
Yeah, if they're smart enough to make their way to here, then they're smart enough to outdo us. So, yeah, give me zombies.
Andrew, are you going to divvy away from this?
The question is, do I still have to mow my yard? Because I watched Walking Dead 2, and all those yards were very well manicured. So if I have to do that while the zombies are out there, I might lead alien. I mean, I might just get that done over with quickly and just go with alien. I mean, I could shoot my way out of the zombie one pretty easy, I feel like. But I'll be up for the challenge for the alien.
I guess I hadn't really noticed the manicured lawns, but I guess you're kind of right about that. I don't know. I feel like everything Kenny and Justin said about the zombies is where my head went originally on this too. I feel way more educated, like Justin said, on the zombie apocalypse. I've done so much Walking Dead, it's ridiculous. Even when it got tough to watch, I powered through and made it to the end. So, yep.
Sorry about that.
I'll go zombie apocalypse, and I can miss me with the aliens because, like you guys said, if they're smart enough to get here, I don't want to know what they're doing when they get here.
Yep.
All right. Well, you guys, really appreciate you guys jumping in here, doing the Discord Dog Pack show with us today on the Friday. And I hope everybody has a great weekend and you guys enjoy. Hopefully the weather's nice where you guys are at and you get to have some good times over the next couple of days.
Right on. Let's go. Woof, woof.
All right. So
appreciate you.
All right. Yep. There we go. Okay. Well, you guys are the best. We love the Dog Pack. Again, if you guys want to jump into these Discord Dog Pack shows, we're going to keep doing these at least over the summer. We'll see what the schedule looks like as football season unfolds. But until we get to that, the start of the season, we're going to keep doing these. So go to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member, and then you get into the Discord. You get to do everybody in the Dog Pack is awesome. These are just diehard Browns fans, the best people. We've become such good friends with all of these guys. It's a ton of fun. And there's conversations 24/7 about anything and everything you could possibly want to talk about. And I don't know what else to say. It is a really, really awesome community and just the friendships that have, come out of this. We do these fantasy football leagues. We just did our Dynasty rookie draft, the first one last weekend. It was a ton of fun. I just love hanging out with these guys all year long. So if you guys want to be part of that community, or at least just check it out, maybe it's not for you long term, but if you're interested, just check it out. You get a 7-day free trial, jointhedogs.com. And if you like what you see, stick around and get to know us better, and we'll get to know you. So Justin, Kenny, appreciate you guys jumping in. And until we see everybody in the next one, let's go Browns.
Oh, go Brownies.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. Browns fans, we talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your order. And that code can be used over and over. So you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. dangercoffee.com, code DAWGS.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.